Hello and welcome to official Xbox 360 Magazine's OXM report. And this week we visited EA Montreal to check out Army of Two: The 40th Day, the next episode in gaming's most beautiful bromance.
So I'm here with Reed Schneider, executive producer on Army of Two: The 40th Day. You have been saying quite a lot of stuff about improvements on listening to criticism of the first game. So what are the main areas that you guys have improved for the second game?
So, with Army of Two: The 40th Day, we took a step back. We looked at what works in the game and what didn't. And what we found was that there was a lot of really valid criticism in the game. There's some things that people really like really the focus around co-op. But specifically, if you look at the tone of the game, I mean, one of the cool things I think that we're doing with the Army of Two: The 40th Day is that you really, as a character, when you take control of the character, you're going to decide who that character is in the game space. So do you want to be a total douchebag, or is that how you want to play? And there's some people who want to play like that. Or do you want to be the type of guy who goes and who puts the time in, who rescues the civilians, who takes the high ground in terms of cooperative choices, and really and gets that experience out of it. So for us, it's by looking at that feedback directly, it's been able to force us to up our game and push us to up our game. So it's something that I'm really excited about, to be able to give that back to players.
So designing a co-op game clearly isn't just about bunging another player in there. It's kind of, what are the challenges that kind of presents as a designer?
What we've learned from the first game and up till now is that the way you design a game in terms of the level construction, the approach, the overall like we call scenerization of it, the rhythm of a game, it's really different in the sense of, if you think about a co-op game, you have two people who are playing together. So the cameras or what they're looking at can have a full 360-degree view of the action. So even the way you design levels in terms of spawn locations, you really have to think critically and really map that out, where enemies are going to spawn from what each player is going to be doing. Because even Army of Two, when you're playing with a partner AI, we still consider that co-op play. Like whether you're playing with your buddy, it's really the same thing. So what is each character, what is each person going to be doing at the same time, and making sure that that's really interesting.
And one of the really interesting things you guys are doing with multiplayer is forcing players to buddy up with another player. So how does that change the multiplayer dynamic?
So, when we began to think about what multiplayer in Army of Two: 40th Day should be, we thought about really how can we make a multiplayer experience that's focused around co-op. So in the past, I was lucky enough to work on the Battlefield franchise, and what we saw in Battlefield was that people who played in teams were able to just dominate the game. So we said, wouldn't it be interesting if we could have if we could bring co-op essentially to the multiplayer? It wasn't just about deathmatch. So with what we call co-op, the co-op deathmatch mode, you really are playing with your buddy in terms of having to play through that experience and really work together. So I think what you're going to see when we release the game is people who are strong in pairs are really going to be able to dominate on the battlefield.
And there's a new mode called Extraction, which you guys are using as a pre-order bonus. Could you tell me how that works?
Yeah, so one of the things people are always asking us is well, it's cool in co-op, why don't you have 4 players? I think with Army of Two, it's even the name says it, right? It's a 2-player experience, but people have been asking us about this, so we began thinking about that. We're like, okay, well, what if we gave just an opportunity as a bonus mode just to try it out, like for 4 players to kind of team up together. So what we thought something that'd be interesting with Extraction is we're going to give you 3 other players to team up with, but then it would be cool if we could move you around strategic battle zones in the map. So after you clear a zone with your friends, you're going to be moving to strategic locations. So there's 4 locations in each map, and then there's 4 maps to play this in. So it's a pretty cool mode. We've had a lot of fun playing with it already, and I think people are going to be excited. Just it's something different, and it's something that wasn't part of the original design spec for Versus. But we looked at it, we thought it was cool, and now we want to give it to players.
What are the kind of ways that Salem and Rios are going to be able to interact with each other on the battlefield?
We have riot shields, we have back-to-back, we've got the ability to give your partner step jumps and boost to another area. One of the main criticism, again, really valid on the first one, was that if you would step jump to a higher area and then you died, you were stuck up there and had to bleed out. So now, even if you die, you can still push yourself, or get down, you can still push yourself along the ground to get back to your partner. We also have this pre-combat system where, in terms of pre-combat, the idea is to get the jump on the enemy AI before they go into patrol mode. So you can grab an enemy AI in a hostage lock. Your partners can go and then tie up the. If you grab, say, the elite enemy, then your partner AI can go and tie up the grunts because they'll surrender. So we have a class-based system in terms of AI, which we never had before in the first game. So it's really, for us, it's thinking about how do we layer in or give the player the opportunity to craft tactics and strategies on the fly. And for us, that represents really the next generation of co-op.